currently thinking about getting a Tamagotchi and you're kind of deciding between the Tamagotchi Uni or the Tamagotchi Paradise, this video is for you because I've spent this week running both of these devices and compared them for you guys. And by the end of this video, you should know which device you should be going for. As always, I don't want to talk too much, so without further ado, let's get started. First, let's talk about the key aspects of each device. So we have our first contender, the Tamagotchi Uni. This is the older model amongst these two. It came out 3 years ago. As the name kind of implies, it stands for uniting because there are several events that take place, like seasonal events, where you can compete with other Tama friends. Uni also stands for being unique because there are a bunch of options to accessorize your Tama and customize the living room. You can even craft accessories. I'd say this is like the essence of the Tamagotchi Uni, like really bringing out the personality of your Tama. Yeah, another point. Your Tama also has a personality, and depending on the personality, your Tama will like different items, accessories, and food. So this is basically the concept of the Tamagotchi Uni. Whereas for the Tamagotchi Paradise, it's more about slipping into the role as a scientist and cultivating your own planet with 3 different biomes and to raise a bunch of Tamas that will live on these biomes. You can keep up to 5 Tamas on every biome, but you're not taking care of them simultaneously. Once you've raised a Tama to the adult stage, you can let go of it and it will stay on your field. There's not a lot of customization going on. It's more about raising the Tamas, letting go of them, mixing the genes, and just observing your Tamas playing and interacting with the items on the field. I also think that the minigames are a big part of the Tamagotchi Paradise because there are just so many and they even come with difficulty levels. They're a bunch of fun and I think they're a big part of the Paradise's charm. So now let's dive into the details gameplay-wise. We'll start with the Tamagotchi Uni. The Tamaverse is like a very big aspect and the charm of the Tamagotchi Uni. This is basically the place where you can interact with other Tamagotchi Uni owners as well as participate in seasonal events where you compete with other Tama friends against each other and can win prizes. This is also the location where you can access your DLC, so access the content from the Tamaverse tickets. There are a bunch of Tamaverse tickets you can choose from. There are even 2 that you can try out for free, but do keep in mind that these Tamaverse tickets do cost extra money. They're not very expensive, I think around $8 or so. Very soon there's another Tamaverse ticket to come out, the Baby Stream, probably one of my favorite Tamaverse tickets. I'm so excited for it, and it's only possible to keep 1 Tamaverse ticket on your Uni at one time, so you cannot keep several Tamaverse tickets on your Uni. If you, let's say, download the content from the Sanrio Tamaverse ticket, and if you afterwards decide to download the new content from the Baby Stream Tamaverse ticket, you'd have to download this one and all of the Sanrio content would disappear and you'd be able to access the content of the Baby Stream Tamaverse ticket. And if you still want to access the Sanrio's content, after that you can still re-download it and get access again to all of the items. The neediness, I'd say, is kind of in the middle. There are a bunch of kind of tricks you can use to raise the happiness quite quickly, and one of these is to visit the Tamaverse. And if you visit the Tamaverse, it will fill up your happiness meter quite quickly. Definitely manageable, a good Tama for busy people in my opinion. The mini games are okay-ish, I'd say. They're not my favorite, definitely not. They're very cute basic characters, a bunch of additional characters you can raise by getting the Tamaverse tickets. So in total, I'd give the Uni in this gameplay aspect 4 out of 5 points. I think the Tamaverse tickets are so much fun, and I just think it's so cool that you can really choose the extra content you want. But on the other hand, of course, they cost money. Also, if you one day don't have access to the service anymore, you'll be stuck with the content from the last Tamaverse ticket you downloaded onto your Uni. Since we're getting a new Tamaverse ticket at the beginning of September, I don't think this will happen very soon. Now let's talk about the Paradise. Now the Paradise is the latest model. The White Glacier and Orange Tropics shells just came out like 1 or 2 months ago. The price point is around the same as the Uni, but since the Uni is a little bit older, it may be a little bit more expensive depending on where you live and where you're looking for, but both go for a retail price of €60. Let's talk about the gameplay of the Paradise, it's basically all about raising tamas, cultivating your planet and your 3 biomes that you have on your planet. I think the gene mixing is a fun part about the Paradise as well. So it's possible for your next generation tama to inherit the eyes and the body color of the parents. And of course the fun dial you can use. And yeah, it's supposed to be kind of like a microscope that you can use to zoom in on the levels and on your tama itself. The neediness, I'd say, is also similar to the Uni, so moderate and quite manageable for busy people especially. Raising the happiness on the Paradise, in my opinion, requires a little bit more effort than on the Uni because you do have to play the mini games. So I do feel like you have to put in a little bit more effort to fill up the happiness meter compared to the Uni. The Paradise is also a lot more forgiving and quite transparent in terms of care mistakes. You always see kind of which character your tama will evolve into depending on the care and the other conditions. On the newer releases, the Orange Tropics and the White Glacier, it's even possible to erase the care mistakes, so that makes the evolution even more controllable. The mini games on the Paradise I absolutely love. I think they're just so much fun. There are also 10 levels that you can reach on your Tamagotchi Paradise, and each level unlocks a few more features. And if we're talking about the characters, there are a bunch of new characters introduced. The Uni will feature quite a lot of characters you already know from previous releases, and I think that gene mixing just adds a fun component to raising the characters because the gameplay loop is kind of raising a bunch of characters and cultivating the planet. For the gameplay of the Paradise, I'd give 3 out of 5 points because I think it doesn't offer the most content, especially after your tama has grown up to be an adult. But in general, the gameplay is fun, to me at least, because of the mini games and the gene mixing feature, as well as the charm of keeping the adults on your field and being able to see them still after you're already starting to raise the next generation. So now let's talk about the content, and I've touched upon this before already. Let's start with the Tamagotchi Uni. Besides the usual Tamagotchi features such as feeding, cleaning, and playing with your tama, quite unique features like being able to use the Uni as a pedometer and gather resources while walking and carrying the Uni. With these resources, you can DIY furniture, accessories, and items. There's also a cute little social media function where your tama will post photos of itself and its day. You can also kind of link the Uni to the Switch called the Tama Plaza link. It's very stripped down because you can basically play one mini game where you're like handing out flyers and then get exclusive items, get gotchi points, but that's about it. And I feel like it's a missed opportunity to resurrect the Tama Town feature. And the Tamaverse, as I've mentioned before, offers a bunch of events that you can participate in and compete with other Tama friends and get gotchi points and prizes. You can also give other players a like for their outfit or like the outfit of their tamas. You can also give likes for the outfit of your tama. This is also where you access the location from the Tamaverse ticket. As of now, there are 13 Tamaverse tickets. The ticket definitely add a lot of content to the Unis. Obviously, you can also connect to other Unis. There are also seasonal items that you get as gifts in your kind of like mailbox. Sometimes you need to update your Uni, but then you should be able to get these exclusive gifts. So for the content, the Uni gets 5 out of 5 from me because it just offers so much. It can kind of be overwhelming at times, but no one can deny that this device offers a lot of content. Yeah, one gripe I have about it is that you have to purchase this extra content. Now let's talk about the content of the Paradise. Besides the usual features, you can go traveling by collecting the poop of your tama, and the poop kind of becomes the fuel of your rocket that you can use to travel to other planets. And while traveling, there's like a little animation that is playing, and I think every planet offers 2 accessories that you can use to accessorize your planet with. You can go egg hunting to gather resources, and by egg hunting you can get the food that you need for raising specific characters, and also you can make meals out of the food, which will fill up the hunger meter even more. It's also possible to get golden peaches from the egg hunts, and the golden peaches can erase a care mistake. There are also a few special snacks that you can feed your tama, and they have like very specific effects on your tama. One can fill up the happiness meter instantly. Some snacks also change the body color of your tama or make it dance. You can also place outside toys that your tamas can interact with, and you can keep up to 5 adults on each of the fields. So you can keep in total 15 adults on all 3 biomes, except for the newer ones, the Orange Tropics and the White Glacier, because they are expandable on your fields and you can keep up to 10 adults on each field. And of course the gene mixing that makes it possible for your next generation tama to inherit features of the parents. What it can inherit are the eyes and the body color. For me, the Paradise Content-wise gets 3 out of 5 because I feel like it doesn't offer the most content, especially after your Tama has grown up to be an adult. There's not a lot you can still do, but I just really like the gameplay loop and raising a bunch of characters, mixing the genes. Not the most, definitely less than the Uni, but it's just different. Now let's come to the build quality. I think that this is also an important aspect to consider. So what you must know about the Uni is that it's extremely small and compact. So these are the two devices in comparison, and as you can see, the Uni is definitely the more portable option. It's smaller, it's also lighter because it is rechargeable, as you can see. Down here is the hole for recharging, and the Paradise runs on normal batteries, so it does add weight to its already quite bulky build. I definitely prefer the sound design of the Paradise. The sounds on the Uni always felt kind of tinny to me. The buttons on the Paradise feel very responsive to me. There's just a nice resilience to them, whereas the buttons on the Uni are very easy to click. So in the build quality, the Uni gets 2 out of 5 for me. I prefer devices that run on batteries instead of being rechargeable. It just feels a little bit cheap to me, whereas the Paradise is a lot more substantial. The Uni gets 2 out of 5 and the Paradise gets 4 out of 5 because I think the dial is a critical part. Some say it's kind of finicky and it can get kind of loose over time. I didn't have this experience with any of my Paradises so far, but maybe I was just lucky. But I do feel like the design could be a little bit more elaborate, especially if you compare it to the Meets and the On. So now let's come to the biggest problems each of these devices have. I also try to kind of gather the information from the community as well. The biggest problem and also advantage of the Uni is probably its connectivity. So you can connect it to your Wi-Fi, thus participate in the events and also get gifts and so on and so forth. But once the servers go down, no one really knows what will happen. Nothing is confirmed as far as I know, except for you only being able to keep the content of one Tamaverse ticket on your Tama that you last downloaded. Another thing is that there is only limited storage on your Uni. You get so many items and there's just so much content, but you have very limited storage. There's just one point where you have to delete items in order to access the new ones, and they have upgraded it once as far as I know, so that you have kind of a storage, but still the storage is just not enough. Now let's talk about the Paradise and its biggest downsides. There's definitely a lack of content once your Tama grows up to be an adult. There's not a lot you can still do. One big point that I've also read a couple of times is that the new Paradise characters don't really look or feel like those quirky, unique Tamagotchi characters anymore, and they're very animal-like. So for me, it makes sense. It just ties into this whole concept of being a scientist and discovering this new planet, cultivating it. I really understand because it's true, they do look very animal-like. They are inspired by animals in most cases, but in my opinion, they're still quirky and still have personality. So that's not a con for me, but just a general opinion that I've read quite a few times and that you maybe want to consider. So my final verdict would be, if you want the Tamagotchi with the most content to accessorize, to customize, to make it really yours and make it unique, then of course go for the Uni. But if you're rather looking for a very laid-back Tama where you just raise the Tamas here and there and observe them, interact with the items, then move on to the next generation already and maybe mix some genes, then the Paradise is perfect for you. A lot of features. The Uni, more stripped down gameplay. You enjoy the process of just raising Tamas than the Paradise. If you're asking me, I personally prefer the Paradise. I like that it's laid back. I like that it's simple. I love being excited about seeing how the features that I mixed turn out. While the Uni has so many features and just so much content to offer, I don't find myself gravitating towards it very often. There are just so many features that it kind of overwhelms me. I know it's a hard decision. Both of these devices are quite expensive. It can really be a difficult decision because they're just so different, but they're the most available options. Yeah guys, that's it for this video. I hope that it was helpful. If you still have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I'll try to answer them all. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me, and take care and hope to see you next week. Bye!